Hey guys, I'm out at the lake right now, as y'all know, and I just felt like doing another one of these videos where I just kind of sit down and talk to you guys. You know, a lot of these videos have to do with my approach to gaming lately and how frustrating it can be. You know, I did a video called I'm Messed Up. If you guys haven't watched that, you should definitely check it out. But it just talked about how like we're all broken and that we all have problems. We all have things that we go through that we don't really like about ourselves. Like we do things that we don't want to do. That's what that video is about. And then I've done videos about envy and comparison and things like that, and my heart really enjoys doing these. My heart really enjoys doing these types of videos where I can just talk to you guys, where we can be real with each other, because like I say in most of them, you know, we live in a society that's very filtered right now with Instagram and Snapchat and being able to edit things. I try and do these in one take, guys. I try to not cut things out just because I like for you guys to see that it's not like a big editing show or anything like that. It's just me sitting down and having a conversation with you. And today I kind of want to talk about being good enough. You know, at my life group this week, we talked about finding an event or some events in life that have kind of pushed you to a place of the struggles that you have today. And one thing that I always talk to you all about the most is like my struggle with anger and frustration, especially with games and things like that, which mentally I know shouldn't exist. Like, I'm playing a video game. I know that I shouldn't be upset about it. I know that I shouldn't get mad about it, but I do. And so I think that whatever yours may be, whether yours is insecurity or whether yours is X, Y, or Z, whatever it may be, I think it's good to look back and kind of find an event or a situation that led you to the place where you are now. So for me, I think that one of the reasons that I get so angry is because I think that I have to prove that I'm good enough, or that I'm like up to par. You know, like I'm something special. I'm something desired. What I do is desirable. In other words, is that I'm good enough. I'm good enough for you guys to watch. I'm good enough to win. I'm good enough to do this or that. And I can kind of look back and I can see certain areas in my life where that kind of just led me to where I am now of being good enough. You know, I was never good in school. I I failed spelling in like the 5th grade, and I've had a lot of struggles with grades throughout my entire life, through college and things like that. My second year of college, I think I had like a 2.3 GPA. I ended up graduating with a 3.6 or a 3.7. But that was one area of my life where I wasn't good enough. You know, my brother and sister were both very smart. My brother is an extremely smart guy, and it was always hard for me because I was like, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to get these types of grades. I'm not good enough to get into this school. I couldn't even get into the University of South Carolina. I ended up transferring there and going there, but I wasn't good enough to get in. And so that was one area where it was kind of always hard for me growing up, like having to have tutors and having to work really, really hard to take tests and do all this kind of stuff. I just wasn't good enough. I wasn't book smart. I wasn't any of that. Now the funny thing is, I'm successful now and I'm good at what I do, but we're kind of in a system a lot of times of certain learning where you have to be good at learning from books and whatnot. Now I know that they've progressed schools and made it easier for interactive learners like myself, but that's just one area where I grew up and I didn't feel like I felt like I kind of missed the mark. You know, felt like I wasn't good enough. And then another area where I felt like I wasn't good enough was with girls. You know, I was always a skinny little kid who was weird, and I'm totally fine with that now. But I used to be really self-conscious about it. You know, always being the friend. Girls always being like, "Oh, you're such a good friend," and I'm like, "But I like you. I don't want to be your friend. Like, I want you to be my girlfriend." That was always hard for me. To not be good enough, to not be as cool as the other person. You know, I wasn't cool enough, or not be as strong as this one guy. I wasn't strong enough. All of these different things really led to that. And you know, when it comes to girls, that kind of progressed in a lot of different areas as I did start dating people, and as I grew up in college and everything. You know, like being cheated on was something that was really hard, because that kind of makes you feel like, okay, I'm not good enough for the person that I'm with to be happy. So they have to go somewhere else. They have to go find somebody else who is good enough, which is so broken. And so for any of you guys that have been cheated on or been betrayed by friends who struggle with whether or not you're good enough, you're a good enough friend, you're a good enough boyfriend, or even girls, you're a good enough girlfriend, just know that, like, you don't want to be good enough for that person. I don't want to be good enough for someone who betrays my trust and betrays my heart and my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't matter. You are designed exactly how you're supposed to be, and you'll come into what you're supposed to be eventually. Like I said, I didn't get good grades. I wasn't good at that. I was really worried. It's funny, my parents always talked about how they thought that, like, it was going to be hard for me to find a job because my grades weren't good. And eventually, now I got to the point where I'm a YouTuber and I'm doing this. And it's funny because, yeah, I wasn't good enough to be a businessman, or I wasn't good enough to be this or that, but I was good enough to be entertaining on YouTube, and it turned into a career. And that's so funny just how that kind of works, because you might not be good enough for this person, or you might not be good enough for that sport. You might not be good enough for this friend group, or to get into this college. But if you're not good enough for it, you can either work at it, or you can find the things that you are good at and you can excel at those and progress in those. You know, I feel like there's a job for everything. Maybe your parents want you to be a doctor, or your parents want you to be a lawyer, but that's not what you want to be, and you're not good at that kind of stuff. I would just say, find your dream, find the thing that you are good at, and pursue that. But all of this really was just kind of a realization for me as to why I get so upset whenever I play video games, and it's because I grew up not thinking that I was good enough. You know, it's very easy on YouTube to compare yourself to other people. Like, it's like, am I good enough to get as many views as Nick? Or am I good enough to beat these pro players? Am I good enough to do X, Y, and Z? And that's just kind of something that's always in the back of my head. Like, am I good enough to get 12 wins in this challenge? Or am I good enough to unlock this card? Am I good enough to make it into the top 200 this season? And that's one thing that really just frustrates me as I play, and it's just kind of something that's underneath the skin, that's underneath it all, that now that I'm realizing, I can kind of try and work on, and realize that you guys don't watch me for strategy that much. Like, that's what OJ's videos are for. That's what Surgical Goblin's videos are for. You guys watch me for entertainment. So am I good enough to be an entertainer? Yeah, that's why my channel's grown to be what it is, because I'm good at being an entertainer. Am I good enough to be a pro player on the circuit? No, literally not even close. Am I good enough to join a pro team? No. Am I good enough to make it in the top 200? I don't know, maybe. But what I need to focus on is what I'm good enough in the realm of Clash Royale. There's a lot of different things in Clash Royale. You can be good at 2v2, you can be good at challenges. You can be good at the ladder. You can be good at just being weird. You can be good at being an entertainer and losing. You can be good at losing and make it entertaining. So I just want to let you guys know that, like, as I realized what it was causing a lot of that frustration and anger, that now I know, like, okay, am I good enough for this, and pursue that thing that I'm good at, to make you guys still enjoy my videos and be entertained. So now that I've realized that was on Thursday that we kind of went through that, and over the next couple days I kind of found out what it was that led me to be angry, that led me to be upset about stuff. And now knowing that it was just growing up feeling like I wasn't good enough at a lot of things, now I'm able to approach it from a different light. So I would definitely challenge you guys as you're thinking through this, think about what you're good enough, and then think about who God designed you to be, and what your traits are, what your strengths are, what you're good at. Because for me, I feel like I'm good at being weird, I'm good at talking, I'm good at entertaining. That's why I really enjoy these types of videos, because I feel like I'm good at this kind of thing. I feel like I'm good at talking and getting my thoughts out, and just being entertaining in that sense. But I love you guys, and I really hope that you all do think about this with whatever it may be that you're struggling with. For me, struggling with hitting the mark, being good enough. I now know that, like, I need to find what I do excel at, and I think that I excel at being entertaining and fun, and weird, and not having to live up to the standard of trophy pushing and meeting that goal, because you guys can get that from somewhere else on YouTube. But my goal is to be the best at Michael, be the best at MOLT, be the best person that I can be at what I'm good at. So I would challenge you guys to work on that as well. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you leave a like on the video, and yeah, let me know if y'all want to see more of these, because I really, really genuinely do enjoy making videos like this. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.